All right, here we go. Friday, February 22nd. Yesterday, and I think I talked about this with that EIA Weekly Petroleum Status Report when it came out. Usually comes out on Wednesday, but it came out yesterday because of the short week, the holiday. And I said, how many times have I told you this? There's a lot of information in that report, and you got the zombies, these people, these traders who think they're smart, and they wait around for that one number. Maybe they think they're really smart, and instead of just looking at crude oil inventory change, they look at gasoline or distillate. They think they're really smart, and then they jump in and they make their trades. And I said there's a lot of information in that report. You have to know how to synthesize it. And yesterday I sent out an email when that report came out, and I do this immediately, the breakdown. I sent out an email to my subscribers. I said the zombies are going to sell based on, they're going to look at that crude oil inventory rise, which was much higher than expected, and they're going to go short crude, but you got to buy that dip because there were other things in that report, very important developments, and I sent this around, that were bullish. And sure enough, what happened? They sold the WTI oil down below 57. I think it went down to like 56, 70 or something like that, and then boom, rallied right back up today. Exactly what I said. You got to know how to look at that information. It was important information in that report. All right? That's why you got to go sign up for my service, MMT Trader. Go to my website, pitbulleconomics.com, and remember, and by the way, if you want to sign up for zombie trading, if you want the two, there's a special price deal. But if you only want zombie trading, I'll still give you that EIA report every week, okay? Because the oil has an impact on the Forex markets, particularly some currencies like Canadian dollar, very oil sensitive, or the Canadian yen, the Canada yen pair tracks oil very, very. As a matter of fact, this is one of the things I love about Forex, and I've been trading Forex for many, many years. You can use the foreign exchange market as to construct any proxy for any sort of a macro situation. In other words, if you're bullish growth, if you're bearish growth, if you're looking at an inflation outlook, a deflation outlook, oil, whatever it is, you can use the Forex market to construct a proxy for that particular big picture concept or trend. All right. So, S&P made a run at the 2,800 level today. As of this video that I'm making right now, it backed off a little bit, but we're still up. The fiscal situation is very, very strong. Now, let me say this. There is something in the really, really big macro picture which is incredibly bullish long term. And it's not going to go away. It is not going to go away probably for the next 10 to 15 years. There is a factor right now, and it's in its nascent early stages, which is starting, and it's going to explode in its importance over the next 10 to 15 years. I don't hear anybody talking about it, but it is huge. It is massive, all right? And it's probably one of the biggest reasons why the economy is somewhat immune to recession. I'm not going to say it's impossible, because there could be something that comes out of nowhere that throws the economy into recession. A war or something. Who knows? God forbid. But this macro factor that I'm talking about makes the economy somewhat immune to recession. That's why all of the forecasts that are doom and gloom and talking about recession, it is highly unlikely that that is going to happen. We could have periods of growth slow down. And by the way, you saw what happened in the fourth quarter. And that was all bogus. That was all based on fear. Everybody got crazy. And you know, I was there the whole entire time saying, you got to buy this dip. You got to buy this dip. Now, it will show up in the GDP when we look back. And when we get the fourth quarter GDP, right now, I think the forecasts are something like 1.5%. That was weak, and it was an impact that was created artificially by all the stock markets selling and the worries and the concerns that generated and the fear that generated, and people pulling back on consumption. But we're going to bounce right back. And to give you an example of that, take a look at copper. I know a lot of you like to look at copper and you watch stupid shows like CNBC where you have these guys on who don't know anything. They go, Dr. Copper is telling us something. Well, copper is a very economically sensitive material. And you have now what looks like a breakout to the upside from a 7-month sideways trading range in copper. Chinese stocks, China stocks, also flirting with the 200-day moving average, moving above the 200-day moving average. Remember this whole China story, China's slowing down. Oh my God, the growth is going from 6.5% to 6.4%. I mean, look at us. We're cheering when it's at 3%, and it's going to be half of that in the fourth quarter. China's growth from 6.5% to 6.4% at the end of the world. Do you realize that's why they sold stocks in November and December? That's how retarded, that's how insane, that's how ridiculous the whole thing was. And I had people at the time crying, you told me to buy and it went down. Come on, please, grow up. Grow up. I said once before, perfection is the destroyer of success. I'm going to say it again. Perfection is the killer of success. If you need perfection, especially in this business that we're in, which is ultimately an unknowable thing. Everything we do is based on a calculated guess, a probability. If you are seeking perfection, in other words, you have to have the absolute bottom tick or the top tick, and you're looking at your lines on the charts and you think you're so reliant on that. Oh yeah? Well, how many times have you been caught with a false breakout? I eliminate all that. I look for success, not perfection. And there is a difference between those things. And if you don't understand that, and if you're over here trying to find perfection all the time, it's never going to happen for you. Perfection is a destroyer of results. Perfection is a killer of success. It takes action, it takes management, and it takes behavior. What I call mental game. All right, I'm happy to see MMT blowing up everywhere, all over you look. It is everywhere. Now, let me just remind you, for 18 years I've been talking about MMT. And I'm happy to see these MMT academics out there now on television talking about it. But they stood on the shoulders of people like myself. You could go on YouTube and search my name, Mike Norman, Fox News, and you'll see all the times I was on TV when I was being laughed at for talking about MMT concepts. And what's like, well, you know, remember Gandhi said, first they ignored me, right? First they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you, then you win. Now we're in the fight, but it took being ignored. It took being laughed at. And I was there all those years. All right, everybody. That's it. Enjoy your weekend. See everybody on Monday. Bye-bye.